Hi, this is Steffi from Steffi's Beads and Baubles, and I wanted to show you how to make this cute little pumpkin. And you can do it either as a pin, or if you want a little ornament to hang around your house, or if you have a Halloween tree or something. I wanted to show you both ways. And I also wanted to show you a few differences on these. We're talking about thread here. On this one I did green thread and orange thread, and this one I did all orange. So I just wanted to show you real quickly. It really doesn't make any difference unless you're looking from the top. So if you don't have an orange thread, if you have white or black, don't worry about it. But you do need to use a beading thread. Beading thread is much thicker and very, very heavy. Let's see if I can pull this and show you. You can't break this with your hands. You just can't do it. It's so thick, and you can pull hard. Where thread that you sew with, you can break. So you want to get a beading thread, even if it has to be white or black to start. And believe me, most of my projects when I started were that way. Case in point, this was one of the first pins I made. I only had white thread, and I only had clear beads, which really don't look that great, but that's all I had 20 years ago. And I made it work. Now there's so many more beads you can buy, so many more colors of sequins, and they have every color of the rainbow in thread, and they come in these little spools. One side's missing, but they look like this, or they come in these bigger spools. That's partly used. Let me see, I have a bigger one to show you. This is more full size. And you can get these on Amazon, all different colors. They come in like a tube, and they're huge. Nice big rolls, and all different colors. So if you want to invest in a little thread, you can, but if you're starting out, use what you got. You can use any orange you want, any green you want. I chose to use this Harvest Orange. It's kind of what I liked about this particular sequin is it's see-through. It's kind of a clear, so it picks up the color of the felt underneath, but it has an iridescent shine. And I did the same thing for the stem, and I picked this green, which is, this one is a dark chartreuse. Now these are both from Cartwright's, but these I bought many years ago on clearance. I do believe they still have this one, but I could be wrong, but they'll have similar colors. But I picked chartreuse. My husband suggested a lighter color, and then we went with a chartreuse. Where is it? A chartreuse, or this is actually called opaque lime. This one I got from Aura Crystals. I'll show you the name. And these are a real pretty opaque lime AB. And I like Toho, and that's all I buy anymore. Now, these are not Toho. But I don't care about the ones that go on the front of the sequins because they're not really going to matter. But when you do the edge, you want a real nice uniform seed bead. And these Tohos are gorgeous. They cost you a little bit more, but they're really worth it. And I know the orange ones, I got these for the orange edge. This one at Auntie's Beads, and it was a 50-gram bag. But I also got these little ones at, I believe, Lima Beads. Lima Beads. These were $2. I know I paid a pretty good price. I think this was a better deal overall. But there's so many places you can find seed beads, and I have no affiliation with any of them. They don't know exist except as a customer, and that's only when I put in an order. Now for the orange front, you could use a clear orange. I mean, you could do a clear, but you can kind of see how that looks. Now with the metallic, it probably shows up a little more than it would on here. But I would suggest using any kind of an orange bead if you have it. If you don't, go with the clear. It really doesn't look as bad on the front as it does on the edge. But if you can get yourself an orange bead, I think you'll be happier with it. This is a silver lined orange, so it's very sparkly. And I liked how it looked. And then I used a brown on the bottom. Now, I just cut these out from a cookie cutter, and I have a video on that. But you can freehand it on a piece of cardboard and trace onto your felt very, very easily. It's one of the easiest things to do. You can also buy a stencil plastic at the craft store that you can make your own little stencils or templates out of. And I've done that on a few projects. So this is how you make this. You're going to start with your front. You're going to start with your felt, and I'm going to tie a knot. I tie a knot in this thread that's pretty hefty, leaving a little tail. I don't know if you can see that. And then I go through, and I'm going to show you the top, and I'm going to tell you why I'm going to show you the top. On this particular, and I'm going to go back down through. It doesn't matter, your sequins will hide it, and then back up, and this will secure your thread. See, and you can cut this off later, but that'll secure your thread. And the reason I'm doing the top first is, if you notice, I take it down into the top of the sequins, or the orange. I take the green down so that it goes down into the pumpkin. And if you do the orange first, you might not have enough room. So you're going to want to do the stem first. And once you get those 3 rows in, now of course this depends on your pumpkin. This is on this one. Now your pumpkin might have a longer stem and you want to cut it off right there. But if you're going to have it go slightly down into the pumpkin, then do your stem first. And then what I do is, these are cupped sequins. Now you could use a flat sequin as well, but these are cupped, so they have a flat side and a cupped side. Some cup sequins are more round. These are more flat. You want that little cup upside down when you put the needle in, so that when you pick it up on the needle, so you're going to put that cup down, okay? And then when you pick it up and flip it over, oops, I'm just batting 1,000 here. You're going to want that cup up on your needle. Okay, and then you're going to hold on to that, and you're going to grab one of your clear or whatever color green you want, and then you're going to pull it down onto your felt. Now, you're not going to go back through the seed bead, because that's going to anchor your sequin on. You're going to come through the sequin and pull it tight, and see that little seed bead holds it on. Then you're going to come up real close, and you're going to do that again, cup side down. It's easier when you pick it up off the table than your hand. And then you're going to go through your seed bead and you pull it down. And then what I do, all my entire ornaments, is I take the needle, put it in the hole, and push it as close to the thread of the other one as possible, so that they're really close. And I do that side by side. And when I get to the end of this row, I do it not only side by side, but up. You want them as tight as you can get them to hide the felt underneath and to give it a real pretty shimmer. So you're going to do that until you have your 3 rows or whatever you're doing on your pumpkin. Then you can just go right over to your orange. And if you want to switch out the thread, you can, but honestly, this one's orange thread. You can't really tell that I used orange on the green. It doesn't really show. I mean, if you look real carefully, let me see if I can find, I mean, you can look real carefully, you might be able to see a little orange thread, but it really doesn't show that much, no matter, you know, what you do. So you don't really need to change it. If you want to, if you're a perfectionist like I can be sometimes, then if you want to do a loop, you can do a contrasting loop, or you could do a green loop, or you could do a brown, whatever you want. And then if you're going to do a back, if you're going to do a pin back, do that before you sew the 2 pieces together. And you're going to put that pin back on here like this, and you're going to, I'm not going to do this because it would take too much time. You come up through the middle, you knot it, come up through the middle, and do like a figure 8. Come up and around and up and around and do a figure 8. Then you take it over the top to the next one, more figure 8s. Over the top to the next one, more figure 8s. And then you go back the other direction. And that will give you this nice hefty pin back. I mean, it's not coming off, and it really doesn't look bad. Now you could do a matching thread. If you do have a collection of thread and you want to do a brown thread, you could do that. And you probably could do a sewing thread on here and just put a little glue over top, but I still recommend the beading thread if you've got it. And it's easily available, at least in black and white, pretty much anywhere. So now once you've got the front sewn on, like this, you've got all your pieces on. This is what your back's going to look like. Okay, and there's where I did the green thread and the orange on this one. I can't help myself. I tend to do that. Then you're going to match them up. Now, if your shape is slightly different each direction, it's not symmetrical, then you're going to look at it both, make sure you have it on there the right way. And match it up really good. And it'll be slightly off because when you bead it, it kind of pulls the felt in a little bit. But once you get it like that, match it all up, then you're going to take your thread, you're going to tie, where's the thread I have for you? I have a thread all ready to go. Oh, that's the wrong one. Here we go. You're going to do a nice knot again, like I did before, and you're going to come through wherever. Now, I'd like to do it halfway, and then I stuff it. So I'm going to start down here, and I'm going to go through underneath the sequins, and that means that the knot's inside. Then I'm going to go through the back and make a loop. So I'm going to go through the back and make a pretty good sized loop. And you can see it on the back. Okay, once you get that loop, you're going to pull up 3 of your seed beads onto the needle, like this. You have 3 seed beads, that's 2. Okay, 3 seed beads. And then you're going to go right through the back next to where you looped it. And see how it makes a little triangle. You're going to go back through the last bead, and that'll secure your little triangle. Now once you have the initial set done, you only add 2 beads going forward. So you're going to add 2 beads, and you're going to go back through the back. I always go through the back to the front. You might like going through the front to the back. And then you're going to go back up the last one again, and you're just going to keep doing that all the way around. 2 beads at a time. And just pull it nice and tight and go back up to the last bead. And you're going to keep doing this, and it makes your really nice beaded edge. Okay? And then when you get up here, all you do is when you get to the edge of the green, then the 2 you add on are green. And then when you get back down to here, you can even add 1 green, 1 orange, whatever you have to do. 1 green, 1 orange. If you're close enough, you can do 2 green. I've had to pull it out a couple times until I get it right, but it's real easy. You just change the color, and then you go back around and change it back and go back around. Now when you get about halfway done like this, but you can do it at any point, you can put your cotton in there. Now I like the stuff out of vitamin bottles. I think it's a nice, soft, very fine cotton, and that's what I tend to use. And you just can lay the felt in there, like, or the cotton, close it up, and you can do it right then, and you can sew around it, or you can add it in later if that doesn't work for you. But you can actually stuff a little down in here. When you get this about half done, you can push a little in there, and then stuff it to the size you want. You can put a little bit, or you can make it double or triple that. I tend to just put a tiny bit, if you notice, just to give it a little bit of fluff, and it gives it a little more stability. So then if you want to know how to finish it, to the last stitch on here, I've got one ready for you to show you how to finish it. And it's real easy. You're just going to do, and this is actually on where it's green and orange. You're just going to put, if you see there, I could add another bead in there, but when it's on the edge, I don't. Now, here you could go either orange or green. It really could go either way. And I'm only going to add 1 bead instead of 2 because it's in a corner. And sometimes in the corners, you only want to add 1. If you have a lot of little, like if it's an angel and it's got a little arm and you're going along the edge, sometimes I'll only add 1. In this case, I'm going to add 1. And I think I'm going to do the orange and see how that looks. And then you just go down through the, now I think it's going to have to be green. And you're going to just take 1 bead, and you're going to go down the second, go over to the other side, because you're coming up through this hole. You're going to go down through this one and go right down into the felt like this. And I'm going down a little further than I normally would just to show you. You can do it closer to here, and then you're just going to go through, and you're going to do about 3. Keep pulling on your thread because it'll come right off the needle. So I constantly adjust that tail. You're going to go through about 3 times each direction. So I go through, and I sometimes loop it once or twice like that, and do it 2 or 3 times. And then I'll go the other direction 2 or 3 times. And I'll just do that until I feel it's nice and secure. I've never, ever had one come undone. Ever. I've been making these 20 years in different forms. And this is how I've always done it. But you could put a drop of glue if you felt more secure. I've never done it. And then if you've already sewn on your back, it's all done. Now if you don't want a backing, you want a loop, then what you're going to do is you're going to knot your thread, and you're going to come up, see the knot there? You're going to come up through that bead, whichever in the center, and you're going to string on as many beads as you want, and then you're going to come back down the next one, and you're going to come through and you're going to do your knot. It's that easy. So this is my little pumpkins. I hope you enjoyed them. I'll show you a little fish I did yesterday. I found him already beaded from years, probably 20 years ago. So while I had these beads out, I decided I'd finish him. And this is showing some felt in the background. So that kind of shows you, if you don't want to cover the whole thing, you don't have to. You can leave a little felt, but I just thought I'd show it to you because it was just kind of fun to finish something I started 20 years ago, and I'm not really sure why. I've never been like a big fish fan, but I figured somebody might enjoy him, so I finished him up. But you can do any shape or color of pumpkin. You can do dark green, light green. I really like how the chartreuse came out, but I might try doing one in a dark green too and see how that looks. But I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you liked it, I hope you'll hit the like button. And if you're not a subscriber, please subscribe. I've got so many videos. I've got 20, 30 things already lined up that I'm going to do for you. I've got a couple more Christmas ornaments lined up for you, and a couple of them are kind of fun, and I think you'll enjoy them. But thanks so much, and I'll be back soon. Bye.